If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
Good morning, and welcome to this week's edition of The Mediator with me, your host, Brian West, here to give you the top 8 headlines and developing news stories that made in this week. Now, as usual, I'll give you the top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made in first. Then we may do a movie clip, a skit, or something that's going on in the community, or maybe a trailer. And then I'll give you the top 8 international headlines and developing news stories that made in this week. So let's waste no time. Let's get to it. Story number 1, saying goodbye to the bishop. The passing of Bishop George V. Murray, who died at age 71, highlights a long-lasting discussions on the important roles that ministers and priests play in the lives of everyday people. As local residents reflect on the life of Bishop George V. Murray, many also see this as a time to talk about the importance of showing appreciation for those who have served the community. The bishop died from a long battle with leukemia and served with the Diocese of Youngstown since 2007. Story number 2, scammers are still out there. A woman in Mercer County is out of $1,000 after she fell for a hiring scam online. Please note that scammers prey on people's hardship and sympathy. If it sounds too good to be true, most likely it's a scam. Scammers use phishing emails that tell you that you've inherited money, etc. They also use website data and also phishing phone calls to get your information. The key is to be aware because anyone can fall victim. As technology has advanced, scammers have evolved as well. So please stay alert. Story number 3, casinos, racinos, amusement parks, and water parks set to reopen. Governor DeWine has made it official that with extensive plans that casinos, racinos, amusement parks, and water parks can reopen. Many people still remain skeptical about reopening the economy, but some feel that we have no choice. Some business owners will be relying on the data to see how things go as the world still tries to get a handle on COVID-19. The story is still developing. Story number 4. Be watchful of road crews. There have been multiple headlines surfacing about ODOT workers being struck by ongoing drivers. This is not good news, especially when these workers follow the rules and are still hit. The only way to prevent such accidents is to follow speed limits and signs put in place to prevent accidents from occurring. It may be wise to minimize distractions as well when driving through a road construction zone. This is a very, very important story that everybody should be aware of. Story number 5. Even in crisis mode, the lawsuits go on. Ohio amusement parks and water parks are not happy with Dr. Amy Acton and Governor DeWine. Cedar Point, Kalahari, and Kings Island have all filed a lawsuit against the head of the Ohio Department of Health, Dr. Amy Acton, for mandatory closures that halted their business plans. Their claim is that the doctor altered the mental health of the public by overinflating the harm of the COVID-19 outbreak. The parks also feel they were singled out and that they had a constitutional right to make their own decisions. Some local restaurants and bars have also filed lawsuits as well. Story number 6. Local residents speaking out about racism. With so much attention on the death of George Floyd, there have been a number of events scheduled to bring more awareness to racial issues locally. Most of the news may center around the police, but the majority of Americans locally and across the United States remain divided on issues of racial injustice. Many feel that the death of George Floyd highlights a new talking point of defunding the police and reverting their assignments to the community that they serve in other different ways. The story is still developing. Story number 7, and the top 2 local headlines and developing news stories that made it this week. Ohio is leaking out jobless benefits. As of the last week of May, Ohio Jobs and Family Services estimated a total of 575 jobless claims. This number shows the lingering effect of the coronavirus. One headline highlighted that Ohio has paid out $3.5 billion in jobless benefits. This story is just the tipping point of a long road to recovery. It is still developing. Story number 8, the top local headline and developing news story that made it in this week. Coronavirus watch is still on. Everyone has their eye on the data as the state slowly allows businesses to open back up. As of last week, the Valley has seen a rise in cases. An estimated 1,502 cases have been reported in the Mahoning County. 322 have been hospitalized, and there have been 194 deaths. In Ohio alone, there has been an estimated 38,111 cases, 6,460 hospitalizations, and 2,370 deaths. Most people will be eyeing the numbers to determine if the United States can declare victory yet. Even as people go about with business as usual, there is still unrest and uncertainty as states across the United States reopen. But those are our top 8 local headlines and developing news stories that made it in this week. I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. You're in the Mediator with me, Brian West. I'm going to take a quick break. I'll be right back.
If you need help, then dial your operator.
Have no fear, fellow citizens. The Mediator is here.
If you want to check out the stories that almost made it in or did make it in, go to our Twitter feed on our website. Check out everything. All of the sources are there. And go to the website. It's method8inc.com, method8inc.com, where you can buy something, click on something, watch something, read something, or just sponsor a program.